of a Poem, which is a book I've had for a number of years, and, well, the kind of title says it all. It discusses different types of poems, their typical structure and form. It was really good as a starting point for myself when I was trying to learn more poetic styles. It actually informed a lot of my styles, especially the sonnet. But I love this book. I find it really interesting. It shows different examples and almost as case studies on different poem styles. So I have already tried to record this video once doing the sonnet section, and I was a mess. So I don't think we're going to do sonnet again this time. Let's look at the elegy. So elegies are, of course, usually about death. They're usually about mourning something, being bereaved by something. And so let's have a look at that. So the elegy, of course, is not necessarily a structure, but a form of poem. And some of these can, of course, be very long, and some of these can be very short. So there are a lot more variant in style. So this is by Ben Jonson, On My First Son. So of course this is someone who has probably lost their first son, which is obviously very tragic, but he's written a poem about the scenario. Farewell, thou child of my right hand and joy. My sin was too much hope of thee, loved boy. 7 years thou wert lent to me, and I thee pay, exacted by thy fate on the just day. Oh, could I lose all father now? For why will man lament the state he should envy? To have so soon scaped worlds and flesh's rage, and if no other misery yet age, rest in soft peace and asked, say, here doth lie Ben Jonson, his best piece of poetry, for whose sake henceforth all his vows be such, as what he loves may never like too much. I don't know quite if I follow what he's saying in that one. I've got to be honest. I obviously he's lamenting something, but I don't know if actually it is his son, or whether it's about his work. Is he lamenting poetry? I lament poetry sometimes, I've got to be honest. Sometimes you can write a poem and you love it, and sometimes you write a poem and you absolutely detest it, only for someone else to say it's actually really, really one of their favourites, and you think, why? Why? Anywho, let's see if we can find another elegy to read. Oh, Captain, My Captain by Walt Whitman. Let's do this one. Oh, Captain, my Captain, our fearful trip is done. The ship has weathered every rack. The prize we sought is won. The port is near, the bells I hear, the people all exulting, while follow eyes the steady keel, the vessel grim and daring. But oh heart, 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 oh the bleeding drops of red, where on the deck my captain lies, fallen, cold and dead. Oh Captain, my Captain, rise up and hear the bells. Rise up, for you the flag is flung, for you the bugle trills, for you bouquets and ribboned wreaths, for you the shores are crowding, for you they call the swaying mass, their eager faces turning. Here, Captain, dear father, this arm beneath your head. It is some dream that on the deck you've fallen cold and dead. My Captain does not answer, his lips are pale and still. My father does not feel my arm, he has no pulse, no will. The ship is anchored safe and sound, its voyage closed and done. From fearful trip the victor ship comes in with object won. Exult, o'er shores, and ring, o'er bells, I with mournful tread walk the deck, my captain lies, fallen, cold and dead. So that one has a lot more of a rhythm to it, in my opinion. I really like that one, actually, because is it his captain, is it his father, or is it both? Is he saying his captain is like his father, like a father figure? There's a lot to unpack there, actually, and I really like that one, and it reads kind of like in 3 distinct parts, which is really cool as well. I like it. I know this sounds very weird, but I like it when poetry acts like prose. Sometimes it feels a little bit more enjoyable that way, which some people might think, well, how? But I just think I like. So a lot of people say that prose shouldn't be too purple, right? It shouldn't be too flowery. But I think sometimes it's nice to have flowery prose, and I think that's what poetry manages when it does those longer segments. And Walt Whitman, of course, is very, very um, familiar with doing longer poems. I remember, is this collection called Blades of Grass? It's something like that. His kind of debut collection, which was only picked up later on in his life, if I remember correctly. Again, I'm pulling from memory here, but it was a really long poem in that, and I feel like it was like it discusses like the kind of frontier of America and the ideas that like all these people are America. It's a really cool poem. I don't know what it's called. I forget its name. But it felt like very much like an everyman type poem. It was like trying to appeal to all of these people who made America home at the time, which is really cool, of course. So that one was really cool. I like that one. Let's see if we can find another. Oh, so this is by Louise Bogan. Tears in Sleep. All night the cocks crew under a moon-like day, and in the cage of sleep on a stranger's breast shed tears like a task not to be put away. In the false light, false grief, in my happy bed, a labour of tears set us against joy's undoing. I would not wake at your word, I had tears to say. I clung to the bars of the dream, and they were said, and pain's derisive hand had given me rest from the night's giving of flames and the dark renewing. The dark renewing, I like that. That's such a powerful phrase, the dark renewing. Because that is what nighttime is to a degree, right? The dark renewing itself, replenishing itself. And sometimes it is a sorrowful thing, especially, of course, as we move into, winter. And those dark nights start to become something that really affects our mood. I know that's kind of only part of what the poem is saying there, but I think you can kind of take it as potentially a slight bit of mourning of the fact that darkness has come, night has come, the pitch of night has come, as much as, the death of someone. I think sometimes that's what's really interesting about poetry is it's two things at once, to two different people, three different people, 4, 5, 6, etc. Let's see if we can find one more elegy. The elegy for New York. Now this one will probably be interesting. It says Douglas Grace. The buildings are at their stations untimely on the tick of property which can always assemble to a bid. The air rights fidget around the vents, zoning and setback line up to be invested in. Today the last holdout on the block was satisfied in brick. 6 derelict kittens moved blind to their rescue. Along Nth Avenue and the one's individual rooms, close rank in a take it or leave it portfolio. Solid front, steam rises from beneath the street, no higher than the metal cornices. Applications were filed with this afternoon. My day in the city, made ready to appear, stretcher to header as dear as Flemish bond and tiny among the derricks and drawn cranes. I arrived in the visible city to look for you, where time becomes visible with shape. As someone said, with shape, each hour on the place will throw its sediment the quarries are spent, the fortunes piece by bay, in the scrapyard numbered, no questions asked. I've known travertine faces, torn from a rich entablature, and rushed out of town to landfill the planned communities nearby. Their kitchens gleam on a soil of terracotta, winks and smiles. In the home and garden centre, they have pressed wood paneling on hand, old mill, old barn, and Gothic oak. The animal hospital lengthens and opens its doors from time to time. On their errands they see you, tripping with gravity, as if you were another world, hesitate over the first, outrageous as before to riddle Connecticut, light years off with the unkempt traffic of a star. Again, not 100% sure what that says. It feels like the first bit was about gentrification. I don't know about the second bit, but I tell you what it did evoke. It made me think of the kind of rundown area in The Great Gatsby. I forget its name, but it's the carriage that they go to, and it's the guy who is framed in The Great Gatsby for having had the affair with Daisy, is it? I'm pulling from really, really far back in my memory now. I haven't read The Great Gatsby in a while. But yeah, so the Elegy is a really cool type of poem. Let's see what someone had to say about it, because there's a little bit of like a section at the beginning where they discuss it. Poetic, that's poetic form in general. Okay, an elegy is a lament. It sets out the circumstances and character of a loss, mourns for a dead person, lists his or her virtues, and seeks consolation beyond the momentary event. Despite this, an elegy, unlike a metrical form, is not associated with any required pattern or cadence or repetition. For this reason, the structure of an elegy is less visible than regulated forms such as sonnet or villanelle. But the structure is there nonetheless, made of the slowly evolving customs and decorums, the coral reef of what each society expects a public poem of lament to contain, and an elegiac poet to focus on. Therefore, despite lacking a characteristic metrical structure, the elegy is a crucial formal link with the history and tradition of public poetry, serving notice that there was once a past where the corridor between the public utterance of poetry and cultural assumptions was both charged and narrow. Because of its public role, the elegy is also one of the forms that can be said to have been co-authored by its community. So powerfully shared are the household gods it salutes. Interestingly, as the role of the public poet has altered, the elegy has altered also and turned inward. Several of the formidable elegies of the last 2 centuries, Auden's for Yeats is included here, as for poets by poets. For poets by poets. Sorry. So what they're saying is essentially the elegy became a way of honouring poets themselves at their passing, which is a really interesting concept. The idea that you kind of salute those who came before you. It's very, very legacy vibes there, actually. But those were I really enjoyed reading those. So with that said, if you guys are interested in me reading any more of this book, or discussing any kind of forms, or maybe even try my hand at writing a few on video, or maybe even do an ASMR stream where we do that type of thing, I'm more than happy to. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope the audio, by the way, I changed the audio this time around to see if I can't get a crisper, better audio quality for you guys. So let me know what you think of that too. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you've had a great relax. I hope this kind of almost like, I know a lot of people say this, blah blah blah, this kind of mundanity conversation around poems is something that helps you guys get to sleep or otherwise relax. And I hope you are relaxing or otherwise sleeping. So, have a great sleep. Have a good night. Have a good relax. Have a good time zone.